opportunity for people all around the world. When you live in Chutz La'aretz, you're not necessarily feeling part of Yom Hazikaron. And when you are here, you truly feel the collective mourning. And these opportunities to have these Zoom calls allow us an insight into the people whose lives have been affected, to the lives of all the people who've given up so much to be here, so that to have given up so much in the state of Israel so that we can be here in the startup nation, in the flourishing land of Israel. So thank you to all the speakers. Thank you to all of our listeners. And please share and like the posts and send your virtual hugs to the speakers. And with that, I'm going to introduce to you the next speakers. And that is going to be Rabbi Kermaier, who is the founder of YAKIR, which is an organization that works with the Druze community and helps showcase a spotlight on them in Israeli society. I'm going to let Rabbi Kermaier explain how he started YAKIR. I have the personal advantage, well, at least when it's not Corona times, of seeing Rabbi Kermaier each week, because he's also the community rabbi of our synagogue, Shir Chadash and Emek, and anyone visiting us in Israel is welcome, once we have something called shul again, to come and join us at our shul, which is a very friendly shul and great for all those Anglos looking for a home away from home. So I know Rabbi Kermaier through our community. Rabbi, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about YAKIR and to introduce our speaker, Keinan.
Thank you so much, Jody, not only for everything that you do for the Jewish community here in Israel and around the world, but especially for this program. It is quite remarkable, and I think it is so important, to share the real experience of Yom Hazikaron with the Anglo world. And Kol HaKavod, this is really an unprecedented event, both in terms of its quality and scope, and please God, it should become an annual tradition. You mentioned YAKIR, the organization that I founded 4 years ago when I made Aliyah with my family from Manhattan. And the truth is, it was a cause that I'd never imagined becoming involved in. But circumstances, tragic circumstances, led me to become involved with the Druze community of Israel and other minority groups who serve in the IDF and who sacrificed for this country. And the tragedy was the terrible terrorist attack in the synagogue of Har Nof, in which a Druze police officer was killed. And we're going to learn more about that incident over the next half hour as we speak to that individual's brother-in-law. But what became clear to me is that there wasn't sufficient interaction with the Druze community. We didn't know enough about the Jewish community. I personally had never met a Druze person until 5 years ago, which is very sad. As a Zionist, as somebody who traveled to Israel at least once a year for a couple of decades, I've never met a Druze individual. And these are individuals who serve in the IDF, who sacrifice for the country, who have been our partners in building this country from the start. And it really seemed a shame to me that there wasn't a greater sense of brotherhood and of fraternity with this group. And so we've been running programs that strive to deepen the connection between the Jewish communities and Druze communities, and also other minority communities in Israel that serve and sacrifice for the state. And that's really how I came into the orbit of Keinan, who I believe is with us. Keinan, are you with us now?
But we don't see his video, so we need him to show his video or to come up on the screen. Oh, excellent.
Okay. Keinan, you're with us? Can you hear me, Keinan?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We've got you now.
Fantastic. He's up north. I'm in Jerusalem, and it's not always easy to actually maintain a good internet connection up in the mountains, or up wherever Keinan is right now. And so,
yeah, I'm in Siberia, actually.
Where are you?
Yeah, in Siberia.
In Siberia.
Yeah, in Tiberia.
In where?
In Tiberia.
Oh, Tiberias. Okay.
Yeah.
Tiberias. That would have been interesting. Well, it is really a pleasure to be speaking with you on Yom Hazikaron. Yom Hazikaron here in Israel is obviously a very, very serious.
Rabbi, you for some reason you're fading in and out. You need, I don't know if you can speak closer to the speaker.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, much better.
Okay. Yom HaZikaron here is obviously a day that is somber. It's sad. It's a day that brings back the trauma of loss for the families who have sacrificed their children, their parents, their loved ones in defense of the Jewish state. And, it's something that is observed not only in the Jewish community, though, and I think that's something that's important for all of us to understand. This is a day that is also observed as a day of mourning and remembrance within the Druze community as well. And you, as a member of that Druze community who has also served in the IDF, I think you are somebody who is uniquely positioned to help us understand that and to help Jews around the world appreciate what it means to be a Druze individual within the state of Israel and what it means to be a Druze individual on Yom HaZikaron. And so perhaps Keinan, I know you for a number of years, your sister, of course, I know well, your parents. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about your family, about your upbringing, you and your family's relationship to the Jewish state, to help all of those who are watching get a little bit of perspective on who the Druze are and what it means to be a loyal Druze citizen of the Jewish state.
Okay. So I would like to open my say about myself. I will introduce myself. My name is Keinan from Smear village in the north of Israel, from Druze community. I'm 29 years old. I'm living nowadays with my parents. Nowadays I'm studying English. Hopefully I will be an English teacher someday. A little bit about my past, what I've worked with. I've worked in a different jobs, such as working with youth, and especially with the Aharai Association, which means Aharai, it's preparing the high school students for army for a significant and meaningful service. Also, I have took part in the past in a delegation with the Jewish Agency. In 2016, I've been 3 months in Colorado State. It has been a great summer. As a Druze Israeli person and counselor, especially to introduce myself and the Israeli Jewish in the or to expose the Israeli Jewish point of view to the Jewish community in the U.S.
Let me ask you something, Keinan.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question? Just a little bit more about when you talk about how you grew up in a Druze village. Maybe tell us a little bit about your family as well. What do your parents do?
Yeah.
How many siblings do you have?
Yeah, we are 8 members in the family. My father is working in the local council. My mother, she's kindergarten. I'm the oldest in the house, in the family. We have 2 brothers. We are 2 brothers and 4 sisters. And right now, as you know, she's my sister. She was married to Zidane Saif, and I guess that we all know who is Zidane Saif. What do you know about my family also?
Let me ask you, are you the first one in your family to serve in the IDF?
Actually, my father served before me, and then, yes, me. And afterwards, my brother, he finished his army 3 months ago.
Wow. Where did you serve?
I've served in the intelligence forces. I've done. I've played a lot of roles. Actually, I cannot explain about my roles according to security issues, but it was a really significant service. I'm really proud of myself because what I've done during my service.
You know, some of the people who are watching you now might be a little bit surprised to hear that somebody who isn't Jewish was serving with distinction in the intelligence units of the IDF, obviously in very secretive roles that you can't even share with us. Now, is that something that, you know, should be strange?
Actually, it sounds like a strange, but honestly, in 1956, the Druze have signed that they committed to do and to service in the army, the Israeli army, of course. So nowadays, 94% of Druze boys service in the military. Girls, they are not.
Mm-hmm. So, so you, when you went into service, it was not at all abnormal in your family and in your village.
Yeah, yes, it wasn't. And of course, all of them were proud of my service.
Let me ask you something about your service. You mentioned that that your sister is Rinal, as everybody knows, and that she was married to Zidan, which everyone knows. It is true that many thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of Jews here in Israel know who Zidan Seif, Zichrono Livracha, is. But it's also true that most people, most Jews who are connected and who follow the news in Israel know about Zidan, Zichrono Livracha, but don't necessarily remember his name and don't necessarily have the context to remember who he was and why he is celebrated as such a great hero of Israel. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about your late brother-in-law for people here who don't make the connection immediately.
Yeah, so Zidan is my brother-in-law, as I said before. Zidan was 30 years old. Actually, it was in Tuesday at 7 a.m. in a synagogue in Har Nof in Jerusalem. 2 Palestinian terror attackers armed with guns and cleavers arrived to Har Nof synagogue. They already killed 4 worshippers, prayers. Zidan was close to the area, and he's the first one that came to the area. He was the first one that in the battle there. Actually, and unfortunately, he was murdered by one of them. Zidan died later because of her wounds. Zidan was a police officer, a traffic police officer, and he wasn't certificated to be there and to manage these situations, but his attitude and duty to save souls and innocence, he didn't think twice, so he stand like a wall, and he managed everything by himself until the other policemen arrived. And unfortunately, in the same day, evening, and at the evening, we were told that Zidan cannot manage her wounds, and he died. He left. Zidan left behind him at 21 years old Rinau. She's my sister, and 4 month daughter Her name is Lorraine. Actually, it was so sad. But on the other hand, we are real proud about Zidane and his story, because Zidane is a brave, and what he has done. Sorry, for the country, not only for Jewish or for Druze, but it's something that we need to be proud of.
Right. I think I would just add that you should not only be proud of Zidane's heroic sacrifice in fighting the terrorists and defending Jews who were being slaughtered in the synagogue, but I think you should be proud of your whole family and of Zidane's entire family. I happened to be coincidentally in Israel during the week after the attack. I was planning for my family's aliyah, and I decided to pay a condolence call to the Shiva, to the mourning house for Zidane. And so I drove up north. I mean, it was, yeah, what was that?
I would like to add that thousands of people gathered in the northern Israeli town of Yanuh-Jat, and of course you have been there in order to pay the last respect for Zidane.
Right, and which
from Jerusalem.
From Jerusalem, that's right. And I think people very quickly recognized that Zidane, Hashem Yikom Damo, was a great Gibor Yisrael, a hero of our people. But I think the way that your family and that Zidane's family reacted after his tragic death is also a source of pride, not only to you, but to the entire people of Israel. When I went up there to pay a Shiva call, it was pouring rain, and so there wasn't anybody else visiting at the time. And so I got to meet Zidane's entire family, and I also got to meet your sister. It was the first time I had ever met a Druze person in my life. And the way that Rinal, your sister, communicated a sense of faith and purpose and pride in her husband's mission, and the fact that he was willing to sacrifice his life for other innocent people, was something that became really a symbol for all of Am Yisrael, to how a person can really rise and uplift everybody around them in the process. Because I think your sister Rinal was not only a widow who was mourning the loss of her husband, she was a person who lifted up the entire people of Israel, even as she was mourning herself.
It's so painful. It wasn't easy for my family, and especially for Rinal, because I would like to mention that Zidane and Rinal, they loved each other, and they struggle to be and to get the other one, which means their marriage wasn't really easy project
to get married.
Yeah.
Right. Why was that?
Actually, there was complicity and in our family, which means my uncle, because due to the in the past, people tend to ask their family about the person that they would like to marry well with. So my father asked my uncle about Zidane, and he said, no, it's not the right person for her, and something like that. So we managed a lot of problems like that. It wasn't nice. Yeah.
So love triumphed, in the end, and they ended up finding each other and getting married, and yes, the rest is history with all of the painful and beautiful reality as well.
Yes. Yeah. Furthermore, we believe. We as Druze, we believe. We believe in God. We believe in faith, and we believe that everything is, God is controlling everything. So we cannot disagree with His decisions.
Right. I guess
if you would like to hear about a few sentences, pretty much about Druze, I will be glad to say.
Please give all of the viewers a brief sense of
So,
what
okay,
the Jews stand for and what they believe in.
So Druze community, we're talking about an ethnic group, um, an ethnic group. I would like to say that due to the fact that I'm not religious, so I don't really know a lot about the Druze community, about the Druze religion. I know about the community, but not about the religion, because I will say. The Druze religion was started in Egypt by the Khalifa Fatimi. I don't have idea if you know about it or not, and which called the ruler by the god, the ruler by the god. In 1017 started in the first distribution about the religion in the Middle East. In 1043, our religion became secret because of the persecutions that we suffered from Muslims. Due to the fact that some historians claim that Druze is a group which split from Islam. So there is not I can't say anything about it because there's nothing to prove. There's nothing to know. A few principles about us: God uniqueness, which means we all believe in God, the same Lord that the whole religions believe in. And of course, being honest and telling the truth. It's really important to be honest with yourself and with others. Keeping your religion and people safe, which means you should keep yourself safe and keep the others safe, which means others, we're talking about the people that you're living with. And of course, the most important is loyalty, because Druze community are really unique with their loyalties to the countries that they were born in, which means the Israeli Druze, they are loyal to Israel because they were born in Israel. And I would like to say that Druze were minority in the world. In Israel, we are only about 120,000 people, and we have also in Syria and Lebanon, in Jordan, and in Canada, I guess. Furthermore, we believe as Jewish and of course other religions, we have the same things pretty much because of Moshe and Yitro. Of course, you know that.
Well, I should just add to that. Not everybody knows that.
Yeah.
I think just as I mentioned, he said that about Moshe and Yitro. Now,
Okay.
what might be known by many of the people watching is that the Druze believe that Jethro, is the founding prophet of their faith. And so it's not just that they are loyal to the country that they live in, but as the head sheikh of the Druze community explained to me once, that with Israel and the Jewish people, there's a very special bond, because just like Yitro stood shoulder to shoulder with his son-in-law Moshe, our teacher Moses, so too the Druze and the Jews are destined to stand shoulder to shoulder in a covenant of life and of blood that sustains us.
So that's it. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the connection between Druze and Jews. It began with the Exodus at the meeting of Moshe and Jethro, as you said. In Israel, the connection get tighter in the 30s and the 40s because of the conflicts with the Muslims, the Jewish-Muslim conflicts between the years 1940 and until 1980 and 1948. Relationships were strengthened between Druze and Jewish, and especially Jewish agency, the Jewish Information Service acts against the Jewish Information Service and the defense organizations organizations on the scent of tourist acts against Jewish in the 30s and the 40s. So it starts there that the Druze and Jewish put shoulders on each other and fight with each other until the Independence War in 1948, and afterwards as I said before, in 1956, the Druze became committed to serve in the military. It's not our choice, and we have done it before. We will continue do it. We're so proud to be a part and from this country, of course, and from the community here.
Well, let me ask you something, just maybe as we wrap up. You have obviously lost somebody that was very close to you, who was serving in a defense role. Zidan of blessed memory was a police officer, and it was obviously incredibly painful for your sister, for you, for your entire family, for his family. Now, please God, one day when you settle down and have children of your own, would you send your own children out to fight in the IDF and to risk their lives in defense of the Jewish state?
Nice question, because we are living here, and we will stay here, which means we fight in the past, we fight in the past, and we still fighting nowadays, and we will fight in the future to protect Israel. Wow. Regarding the communities that, of course, Jewish, because it's not new that Druze and Jewish fighting together, and we have lost a lot of sons and brothers and fathers, of course, in different wars during the past years.
Wow. Well, I just wanted to conclude by saying I got a text message as we're speaking from your sister Rinal, who told me that she signed in and she's watching this interview. She didn't understand all of the English, but I wanted to give a quick shout out to her as well on this Yom Hazikaron, because she obviously is a person who gave up her beloved Zidan as a sacrifice for the defense of innocent citizens of the Jewish state. Thank God, Baruch Hashem, she is happily remarried now and has another daughter to cherish. But I'm sure Yom HaZikaron is a day of extraordinary pain for your family, for her family, and the fact that you and she and your families are still so deeply committed to the state of Israel is something that is an inspiration for all of us, really. So thank you so much. And thank you again, Jody, for this incredible program, the JIC, and all of these sponsoring organizations.
Thank you, Rabbi. And thank you, Keinan. It took a little convincing to get the Rabbi. And I was like, Rabbi, people would love to hear this perspective. Not every day do we get to understand the people who live in our community and fight for Israel, support us, defend us. And you guys are part of the Jewish people, and therefore we want to know about you. We want to understand the role you guys play. And we want to also say thank you to you and your family and your whole community for being part of the defenders of Israel. So, and Rabbi, thank you for making this happen, even if it took a little nagging. So I really appreciate it. And
I always appreciate your nagging.
And Keinan, I really hope that I get to meet you in person. I'm so intrigued. I have so many questions more that I want to ask you. And I hope that one day you'll come and speak in live for my organization and we get to meet you in person. And I look forward to those days when we can meet in person. But for now, we're sending virtual hugs and a big thank you.